Allow me to reintroduce myself.
You are now tuning in to the Snap Call Podcast.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to episode 6 of the Snap Call. I'm Xavier.
Hector.
It's your boy Ice.
And we are back for, 6 episodes. 6 episodes deep. That kind of went kind of fast, huh?
Yeah, man.
That was
we just started.
A month and a half in. Been putting out a lot of work, a lot of content, so hope you guys are enjoying the content. I think this is the first time all of us have been together in 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So, Army duties, Fernando behind the camera. Someone was sick. And then we won't go into that. I don't know if it was COVID or not, but and then Ice was traveling for work. So just happy to be back with you guys. Got the full squad here on deck. But we got a lot of topics to cover. So Hector's gonna jump right into it.
All right. So I'll paint a picture for you. It's 2006. High stakes poker is Aaron. The Rock is wrestling. And Tom Dwan is running the scene with his high stakes antics. And no, it's this year. It's 2024, and all of it's happening all over again. So big splash in the poker community of Tom Dwan coming back to Twitter and pretty much announcing that he is going to be an ACR ambassador. So he's put on a patch. He does have other patches for some other companies, but it doesn't seem like it's going to affect any of that. But it's good just to see him. So just like Phil Ivey, he's a man of mystery. He is in the dark corners of Macau, playing for life insurances and babies or whatever illegal high stakes housing stakes that they do over there. But he finally poked his head out to jump into ACR. So do you think him coming back is going to be like the days of 2006 where we're seeing high stakes heads up play with these big stacks like it used to be, or is that time over?
I'll jump in. So we've seen a lot less Tom Dwan, obviously, like you said, over the years. He kind of made a return last year, but wasn't as consistent on TV and all these tournaments. But he was on that, the HCL stream or whatever.
$1 million game.
And he was in $1 million game, and he even though he took a long time off from playing poker, he was involved in that huge pot last year, which is the largest televised poker pot ever recorded. So I think that just goes to show he can be gone from the poker scene for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and then the moment he's back, it's an impact. I think poker is at its best when everyone's back, right? Ivy, Dwan. This might be a hot take, but even Chris Ferguson, when Chris Ferguson's on the scene, I think it's good. And for different reasons, right? Because I like to see people echo him down the hallways at the WSOP, and he gets what he deserves, right? But from a pure skill standpoint, he obviously knows how to play the game, but that just challenges people that much more when they're at the table with him. So I personally like Tom Dwan back. I know we're going to get into a little bit as to why he's back and maybe why he was missing. But yeah, when you got the people the people that are at the top of the game and they're in the game, it's good for the game.
Yeah, so my thoughts on Tom Dwan being back, and as far as is it the high stakes online going to be back like it was in 2006? I don't think so, just because it's on ACR. ACR has been dealing with a lot of stuff with bots and stuff like that. So, and also Tom Dwan with his heads up challenge and stuff as far as paying or finishing challenges isn't the most reputable. Yes, he's one of the best players, but still, I don't think it's going to be back like it was in 2006. Yeah. It is good for the game that he's back. He has a lot of fans. I'm a big fan of Tom Dwan. Maybe he's going to play more tournaments. Maybe you see him more in the World Series of Poker. But honestly, I just don't see it being the same as it was in 2006.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was just that was our heyday, where it was just great to see these big heavyweights going at it, and we're just not going to see that anymore, especially on sites like ACR. There's just no trust there. Even Tom Dwan being their big name, and yeah, they got Moneymaker and Chris Moorman, but until they can get rid of the bots, get rid of this this play of that, like, you feel like you just get coolered every time you go on there. Like, it's just that's gonna be what secures people in. I think that's why people, are going to WSOP or GG, and you just have so many hesitant people with ACR. So I guess that would be my question to you guys. I know you're not online people, but what do you need to get to ACR, to feel comfortable with ACR?
I'm
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. I've never been comfortable with online poker in general, right? There's not a lot ACR can do to get me to invest and play on that site and put some credibility on that site and believe in that site.
Yeah.
Tom Dwan might be the last poker player on earth right now that's going to bring me to ACR. As soon as he returned to Twitter, he was hit with allegations of all of these bets and props or whatever the case that he has not paid out on. Ironically, a Jungle Man who he had the heads up challenge with has actually come to, I wouldn't say like to his rescue, but has come to his defense recently.
Yeah.
So clearly he's been seeing some payouts recently. They never ever even finished the challenge, but it's interesting. At the end of the day, you've got a lot of things with ACR. You've got the teaming issue. You've got the bots issue. Online poker in general is just kind of shady. It's never been for me, but Tom Dwan being a part of it's not going to change anything. It doesn't make it worse, truly, but it's not going to change anything. What can they do? Nothing. I mean, truly nothing. Yeah. Having the availability to play it around the clock in a legal state would be nice and beneficial, but at the end of the day, I'd rather go drive 35 minutes and play live.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, personally, especially if I'm going to invest a decent amount of money, I'm not trusting ACR.
Yeah.
Especially if Tom Dwan is pretty much marketing it. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but Ryan DePaulo used to be an ACR pro. Now he's with WSOP.
Yeah.
So I wonder if by losing DePaulo, did they get Dwan, or was Dwan pretty much kicking DePaulo out as far as ACR?
I mean, ACR has a lot of players still. I mean, they've got Mormon, Moneymaker, Nacho. So I mean, they have a lot of they got Boski. So they got a lot of they got they
have tons of people.
They
Just
have a lot of
like
people.
Full Sail had a ton of people. I just don't think ambassadors of the game is what's going to drive people.
Yeah.
I think stories like we're going to get into later on of these bankroll challenges and other things like that. That's what's going to drive new players. That's what's going to drive people to play on your site. And ACR is kind of more for like the just the online reg that just wants to play and grind out stuff, either cash or tournament, but you can't do that when you just have all these bots there. You just can't, and it's hard to defend them with that. So
That's why I found it kind of weird that they got Tom Dwan.
Yeah.
Is because ACR, if you're gonna market online, you market to the new players.
Yeah.
The low stakes. So I feel like Ryan DePaulo was a better ambassador for that because he has
the vloggers,
his YouTube channel. He plays lower stakes.
He's more relatable.
Yeah, and he's newer to the poker community. Tom Dwan's an old school guy, so I don't feel like it's gonna attract more players. Maybe they can do they're gonna do like a dirt challenge, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe stream it live. That's the only thing I can see why they brought Tom Dwan back.
They need to. The site's not regulated at the end of the day. The way you're going to get people is to regulate the site and create partnerships with like WSOP where you can win seats and all of that. Once WPT, WSOP, all of these big tournaments start to trust a site like ACR, that's when I'll start to trust them. But on pokernews.com, there was big bold letters. We do not recommend players playing on unregulated sites. Yeah. And we know that as poker players. But, they didn't even mention on one of the articles, they didn't even mention ACR, even though he came out with ACR. And that just goes to show that they don't even want to point people in that direction, and they don't want to be affiliated whatsoever. So.
Good. So going into the more pertinent stuff with Tom Dwan coming out when he you think it would be all claps and hey good for you, but it's more of people coming out of the woodwork saying where's my money, with countless accusations and allegations of unpaid debts. Peter Jensen, Haralob. If I'm saying that name.
I know there's the soccer owner guy.
Jungle Man having
can't even pronounce his name.
But the trend seems to me where it's like he's getting into these debts and deals, and he owes substantial amount of money, in the millions. He does pay them. He just doesn't pay all of it. It seems like he pays them in installments. He gets them down to a number he feels comfortable with, and then he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm done. Like I'm on to the next one. That's enough. I paid you enough." Like the Jungle Man stuff. Like that challenge was over 10 years ago.
It's crazy to think.
You know what I mean? So to be paying someone for an online challenge that we did 10 years ago that we didn't finish, and it's literally I'm paying you penalties. You know what I mean? That I could see where that's just like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Like it's enough.
Yeah, when,
You know what I mean?
When it's something like that, like you got to come to the point where it's just like, listen, I'm obviously not going to come back from this heads up challenge.
Yeah.
We're not going to get to the how many hands was it? 100,000, 200,000, whatever.
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah.
Like you agree to end it, you agree on a number, and you move on. But all that other stuff, like, listen, I don't know if you guys have seen the videos that Dwan has come out with recently or some of his tweets, but like he
can't-
just seems like he's full of shit.
Yeah,
like
he can't
that's
defend it seems like he's just over it.
Yeah.
It seems like dude, I was gonna pay you, but then you got bitchy, so I'm not gonna pay you anymore.
And to me, it's like
I'm like, dude, if you owe it, you owe it, and
Exactly.
it's a bet, or it's a service you were trying to provide. Like the Harlab, he was doing he was bearding his sports bets for him, but he lost some other sports bets, so he couldn't pay him, and things like that. It was like whether you have the money or not, like that is still up for speculation. We don't know, but you can't. Tom Dwan is still a name, and you can raise whatever money you need. You can get whatever money you need. Use Peter, pay Paul. You have your own Ponzi scheme, whatever it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? But like you can pay these people off. We know you can.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You go on TV and play for 100K, 200K. You have 300K in your pocket. You can just easily call up someone and pay off a debt.
There's no excuse for Tom Dwan not to pay. It's 2024. You can send the money in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You can Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, anything. You can send the money.
Whatever he's
A
doing.
million different payment.
Yeah, so it's just like there's no excuse.
Yeah.
And then also the people that keep backing him. You saw what he did to Jungle Man, not paying.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you keep giving him money? So I feel like people bring it on themselves as well
it's Tom
too.
Dwan.
Exactly.
If
That's
Tom
why you
Dwan-
don't give
if
him the
Tom Dwan
money
came
because
to
it's
you
Tom
and say,
Dwan.
"Yo, let me get a certain amount." Do you really think he can't pay you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where if so, people look at Tom Dwan like, oh, he's playing these $1 million games. He
Yeah.
has the money.
Yeah.
Why is he asking for the money? People don't understand when you play these $1 million games. Maybe he's not buying for that $1 million. He got backers that are putting the $1 million in.
course.
He gets a percentage if he wins or not.
And
So
I
you-
was, yeah.
So you got to understand, if he didn't pay Jungle Man, all right, and then he's just constantly not paying or taking forever to pay, why would you keep backing him? And then you're going to go on Twitter and roast him and stuff like that, like pretty much saying you don't pay and bashing his name, knowing he doesn't pay on time. So it's just like you bring it on yourself. I just don't get it.
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah.
going back to what you mentioned as far as like, you're kind of getting yourself into trouble. You're the only person to blame. Like, but more so along the lines of like he probably doesn't have 100% of his action in a lot of these games, right? Like, especially when he's in Macau for X amount of years and he's just playing and playing and playing. Like, probably did decently well. Obviously, he's a good player, but he probably has not even 50% of his own action. And I think that is what probably started this trend of not paying people back, is because at the end of the day, he's being funded 50% of his action, whatever the case may be.
I only have yen. Sorry, man.
And let's be honest, I like Tom Dwan a lot, but he's not the most disciplined player as well either.
Yeah.
So as far as like maybe he hits these crazy downswings because he's not getting lucky. Because Tom Dwan is not like a Phil Hellmuth that will play strict as far as just like what hands he plays. He's more loose. He has more range when he plays. So that can lead to bigger downswings as well too. And if you're
do
playing
you
these
think
high
he
stakes, you're
left?
talking about millions.
You think he left to hide or to just play in these games? Or a little bit of both?
Well, the rumor was when he was playing those games in China, those games were running big.
Yeah.
So those cash games were actually legit. And remember, he was still tied up with that Full Tilt scandal as well too, because he was a pro for Full Tilt as well too. So he probably knew what they were doing, and then he headed out there. But Phil Ivey, everybody said those games run big in Macau.
I mean, I remember reading rumors, and I'm sure it was just rumors, but you never know that. I mean, they owned him out there. Like, they owned him. He couldn't leave, and it was kind of like the whole like rounder situation. Like, got to pay by a certain time, and if not, I own you. And now they're gonna make money off you. So who knows, right? No one really knows at the end of the day. But it is convenient that he owes a lot of money over all these years and he's been gone, and then all of a sudden he's back, and right before WSOP. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
the case may be. It's just interesting.
I mean,
I don't know about that because he was like one of the ambassadors for one of the casinos out there.
I mean, who you think runs the casinos?
But he was an ambassador, so he probably getting paid for that. I don't think like it's more like they own him type.
Sorry, I'm throwing a lot of allegedlys because I was like, I don't know.
They could be paying
what
him,
we're
or he
saying
may
is
just
right.
he may just owe them debt, and now he's
Yeah.
working for free, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, you owe us $2 million. You know what? Promote our casino now.
Yeah.
And we're not going to pay you a dime. You know, you just never know.
Phil Helmy said like maybe like 7-8 years ago. He said that he constantly sees Tom Dwan and he's flying private jets and stuff like that. So he says he has the money. So it's not like he was like pretty much you have to stay in Macau if you don't pay back. You know, I don't feel like it got that far because he was also ambassador. He makes money.
Yeah.
And you see how famous the Trying series is now too.
Unless I see his bank statement, I'm not saying he got money. I'm not gonna go that far. He owes a lot of people money.
Yeah.
And granted, yeah, he's winning $3 million pots and all that stuff, which is great. But he's also not paying anybody. So,
Yeah.
What do you do with that money? Probably paying off the other dets.
Agreed.
You know,
I don't think he's broke. I don't think he's not liquid that he can't get his hands on a substantial sum of money. But just overall, if I know you owe people money, I assume you don't have any.
How different is this
Yeah.
situation to the Maurice Hawkins situation that we just talked about?
Yeah, I mean
We're talking a couple 100,000 to a couple million, probably.
Taylor all the time. You are putting it on you are just opening the door to get kicked in the teeth and just be like, oh no, I don't owe you nothing.
Moral of the story: don't back anybody in poker. Not if they're going to be
Don't
playing with your
back
action
anybody.
and they have a shady history. But
You want some collateral? You want some
something, right?
Yeah, we're not for backing over here.
Yeah. What we got here?
All right, so switching gears a little bit, we have a clip from Pat McAfee pulled up on my TikTok, and I enjoyed it, so I just wanted to share it and maybe get some thoughts on with you guys. So Fernando, can you pull up the clip real quick?
There was a big game happening that I heard about from one of my friend's dads in the basement of an Italian restaurant that in a town that we grew up in. It was happening on like a Thursday night or something like that, and had bigger blinds, bigger antes, bigger pots. And I thought to myself, maybe I'll be able to go in there and really do this. Dumb thought, blindly optimistic, pretty narcissistic as well now that I think about it. But I got $100 from one of my friends that has money. I went in there and I turned it into $1,400. I left at like 3:30, 4 a.m. And I met my dad when he was getting up. Like he was waking up. And he was like, where the fuck have you been? And I was like, gave him the money, told him I needed $100, went down to the camp, ended up winning the camp, got a scholarship to West Virginia the next morning in school.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I ended up going to West Virginia.
That's dope.
Yeah, stupid. Dumbest life of all time. It was Jack's Full of Nines was the full house that I won the pot on. And I actually had to hold on to my money
back, Fernando?
for the night. I was up to like 1,800, but I was by far the youngest person there. And I didn't want to just get up and bail because that's not
Etiquette.
or smart, in that particular thing. So I just kind of held on, ended up with 1,400, and the rest is kind of history. But like, you're talking about one of the dumbest situations of all time. And if that doesn't happen, do I go to West Virginia? Do I end up in the NFL? Probably not, which means I'm the luckiest fuck of all time.
All right, so Jack's Full of Nines changed this guy's life. Pat McAfee took $100 and he ran it up to 1,400, or he needed 1,500 to be able to go to this camp. And obviously, it changed the college that he went to and all that. So, I mean, it's just a cool story to hear. One, betting on yourself. And two, being a poker podcast, just talking about poker and big moments that poker can have in your life if you let it, So I guess I wanted to get some stories from you guys. Have there ever been any big moments where it was like poker really helped me out here? That I had something and, I was like, let's run it up and, do what we can, or just got a big win out of nowhere and, splurge for a little bit or what have you.
I'm sure there's plenty of examples, where I've like was kind of on the outs and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go try to run it up, you know. And maybe I didn't have any like big runs, but I do remember specifically one time when I was working at SunTrust, I was a proof operator, and Monday through Friday working like 5 to 10 every night. Good job while you're in college, and it was my last day at work, and I knew it was gonna be my last day at work because there was a lot of issues at at this specific position, and went to the Hard Rock that night, and what would have been my last check, I probably made like 3x that last check, enough to hold me over until I found a new job. And thankfully, we're bouncing around jobs at that time. But it was kind of one of those, like, if I don't find that next job as quickly as I did, or if I don't run it up at the casino, I'm probably asking my parents for money, So really didn't have a choice but to run it up there. And there wasn't any like memorable hands or anything. But it was one of those situations where I was like, hey, like back against the wall, you got to make some money. So, I'm sure every poker player's got those kind of stories, but yeah, nothing too crazy, I'd say.
Yeah, I had a few big wins that, pay some vacations, pay some buy-ins for future tournaments and stuff like that. Pretty much just splurge a little bit here and there. There was one time I was 18, went on a cruise, played the tournament they had going on, finished in second place, won a T-shirt and like $500. So I thought that was like the best time ever. So yeah, play poker, win a little bit. You also lose as well too, but
I will say blackjack. Blackjack was one where I made money.
Yeah.
I went on a cruise with my mom, and my dad was supposed to go as well, but my dad's brother passed away right before the cruise. I wanted to cruise with my mom. We lost all the money from my dad's, ticket for the cruise itself. We ended up winning blackjack tournament for $500, and we got a T-shirt as well, and that made pretty much all the money back from my dad's part of the cruise. So it's just kind of like poetic in a sense, right? Like, hey, like lost all this money, but then ended up winning it right back. So I'd probably say if there's anything that kind of mirrors, like, hey, like, I wouldn't say life altering, but kind of like hey, this is kind of cool. I'd say that outside of running it up, just being a degenerate. But
yeah, there are definitely highs and lows in poker. And talking about lows, let's talk about Rampage Poker. Right now, he's on a current $1 million downswing, which is honestly, I'm just glad like he's transparent and pretty much filming the stuff as well too, and being honest with his downswing. Personally, I feel like since obviously he's a vlogger, so the more transparent he is, the more views and the more people will, basically generate him money to come up from that downswing. He just won a big hand against Nick Airbar last week, so he cut that down. I think he won like $250,000. So there's definitely highs and lows. I'm just glad Rampage is showing his lows. And he was making vlogs, like the kid was nearly crying, pretty much saying like, kind of getting towards the end of poker, but he needs to understand as well too. Like as far as me, I'm a fan of his, so hopefully he keeps it up and just grinds it back up, just like when he started from 1-2. So best of luck, Rampage. What do you guys think about the highs and lows of Rampage?
Yeah, no, I think it's nice because I think it's very easy to get caught up in like the glitz and the glamour of watching a lot of these content creators. So I think people fall into like this imposter syndrome where they don't necessarily always want to show their losses. So I think it's good, right, to be as transparent as possible with the losses that you're coming across in poker. You become a lot more relatable, and for people that are just getting into poker, I think it's great as well. We've all been there, right? I mean, how many times have we run up bankrolls just to lose them on when we take shots at bigger games or we play tournaments or just variance in general hits us? I enjoy seeing that. I don't enjoy seeing him lose because I actually really like him. I like his content, but I enjoy seeing the transparency part. And he comes across as a very humble person. You've got some other poker players that are just so cocky and full of themselves, and you just hope that someone like him, turns it around because, we saw him years ago play at stakes that we were playing and then move on up, and now he's playing in some of the biggest cash live streams on the internet. So I do see, I do enjoy watching him do that, and I just hope he turns it around.
He's actually a real legit player. He won, his Hendon Mom is $2.3 million in earnings, and we're talking about a 2-3 year period. He won a high roller event, which Rampage gets criticized because when he won the high roller event, he had backers, right? He busted the first buy-in, right? So when you back somebody, it's really for the first buy-in. The second buy-in, you don't have no action on it. He won, and then he ended up paying his backers from the first buy-in, and he got criticized. Just because the poker pros are just like, now you're setting the precedent of paying these guys back. But then you got guys like Maurice Hawkins and Tom Dwan don't want to pay.
At all.
Yeah, and then you got a guy like Rampage that's so nice and so humble that he wants to pay the guys back. So I feel like you said, we don't want to see you lose, but we like that you're transparent with your losses and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna move from, everyone's gonna have upswings, everyone's gonna have downswings, and it's not really how you deal with your wins, but I mean, it is a little bit, but it's more of how you deal with your losses that we see what type of person you are, and to see, hey, you're down and out, but you still keep the integrity of the game. You still do, you still do the right thing. You're still paying people. You're still showing people your losses, and you're showing the hard part of poker. I think it's irresponsible to only show chip porn and show that, hey, I got all these wins. Hey, you do it. And now, someone's trying to emulate it and, they're losing their shirt because they don't have the skill set. You have to know that, hey, even these pros, they go on the downswings, and you have to know that's just part of the game.
Yeah.
Is he playing, you guys think he's playing above his limits?
I mean, only his bankroll can determine that,
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't know.
His
His
bankroll
skill level is there.
Yeah.
So what's the common rule for bankroll? I always thought it was like 50 times the max buy-in.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard. I've heard anywhere from 40 to 50 times the max buy-in for those stakes. Now, who knows exactly what he's playing with? To me, only his bankroll can determine if he's playing beyond his means.
Yeah.
His skill set proves that he should be there. He's just, in my opinion, just not necessarily running good. If he gets to the point where he's really starting to bust his bankroll, then obviously he needs to lower the stakes. But he got there for a reason, and it's because of his skills.
I know it's hard, but Rampage, just stay positive. There's streams and stuff like that. He comes and he vlogs, and he's pretty much saying that he knows that the guy's going to hit his card, or he knows he's playing bad. He has like no confidence right now. Obviously, that big win against Nick Airbor, $250,000 was a big help in going up in the right direction. But just stay positive, because we all been at poker players. We're just like, we're on a downswing and we feel like we're not going to hit anything. We're not going to hit the flop, or the person's going to hit on the river. Mm-hmm. So just stay positive and just run it back up.
Is there anything specific you guys would recommend to maybe some newer players to get out of a downswing? I mean, outside of like shooters shoot, right? Like that mentality, like you just keep playing and the variance will essentially flip your ways. What would you suggest newer players do to get out of their downswing?
I like stepping away. I like stepping away and recalibrating, getting my thoughts together. Because I mean, poker it's a lot of mental stuff. So it's like if you're just tilted, and I've never been a fan of just like tilting until I'm untilted. I'd rather step away, recalibrate, take a breath off, spend time with the family, and then come back at it 100%.
So take a break, a week or two, get your mindset right. Mm-hmm. I will play down, actually. I'll play down just because when you play those high limits, you don't want to keep digging yourself a bigger hole. So just play down, jot down all the hands you play, and then go back and study. Put what you played wrong, or the hands you lost, and how you could play different. And then if you start winning at the lower stakes, and by lower, I don't mean like you go from minimum buy-in 100K to playing 1-2. You take a step down, maybe play some 5-10. Get that way. If you keep losing, it's not killing your bankroll. And to build confidence. Once you get the confidence going, then you can go back and take a step up. Or maybe you're dominating the lower stake games, and you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here, because he's sponsored by WPT. So I think that deal is. I think Brad Owen was saying too that him and Rampage get the first buy-in pretty much. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it comes out of their pocket. So just, take a break from playing cash games and go just play tournaments for a little bit.
Yeah, switching up the game is always,
Study,
I've done that a couple times.
Hire a coach. If that helps. Some people don't think it helps, but whatever can help you get up from that downswing. The main thing is mindset. Get your positivity right, get your mindset going, take a little vacation, do whatever you got to do. But this is his profession, so because he makes money on YouTube by playing poker. So no matter what, like if he just leaves it right away, like then he has to change his whole YouTube page as well too because he's not playing poker. So maybe he won't draw the same views, which is generating him money, which means he has to find another job, which I don't think he's gonna do just because his dream was to play poker and then he made it in poker. So now it's just like it's just hard. But just stay positive, Rampage.
I would say something along the same lines of what both you said. Take a step back, play at lower stakes. Even if your bankroll isn't busted, there's nothing wrong with going down and playing a lower stake. And then something I always did was I run the hand back. I'll run some numbers, and if I know I'm ahead and I'm getting it in good and I'm still losing, at least have that peace of mind where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm getting in ahead.
Made the right call.
I made the right play. That's all that matters. If I realize that I'm not doing the right play or I'm playing out of line, then obviously trying to fix those kinks, but taking the step away is going to help me with that. And then you kind of have this visualization when you're playing where it's like, hey, like, okay, not going to make that same mistake here. Like, might play the hand a little bit differently.
So basically, Rampage, stay positive. We're cheering for you. Now on to the negative stuff, which sucks because I feel like the last month has been so much negativity on poker as far as just like drama and just like scammers and just like people not paying back. This Corey Zellman, a few years ago, he had basically a sports betting ring pretty much. And he got caught for money laundering, just basically a straight scammer. He is gonna take a plea deal after he said he wasn't gonna take a plea deal. The problem is, how does his victims feel? How do you feel like by him taking a plea deal, is he admitting to everything that he did and not pawning off on his friends? Like, how do you feel that as far as with the with that case that's going on?
Yeah, no, I think when it comes to that type of stuff, I mean, when you're involved and you see someone taking a plea deal, you can't help but feel slighted. Yeah. And you definitely can't help but feel slighted when there's money involved. The case is interesting. Poker players always seem to find them, not all poker players, but a lot of poker players seem to find themselves in these types of interesting scenarios. Do I think he should take the plea deal or not? He's got to do what's best for him. Hopefully he does the right thing, but that's not for me to say. But, if I was involved, I couldn't help but feel slighted in some sort of way.
And it's always like a New Yorker that goes to South Florida.
Yeah. I mean, you got took again. This is what we're saying. You just got took, and you got to take it on the chin. I'm always skeptical of just someone saying, "Hey, I got insider information on this sports bet, and it's a lock." Anything of that sort. So I mean, I steer clear of it. I like to stay at the table.
People, when somebody tells you they got insight on a game, I know a guy. This is gonna hit. It's not gonna hit. Nothing's guaranteed in sports betting. You guys gotta understand that. If it's too good to be true, that means it's too good to be true. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just an interesting scenario. The only thing I could say about that is I just hope that there's less and less negative stories about poker that are popping up. Yeah. And we get a lot more positive stories popping up as we enter the WSOP season.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's get off the negativity. So let's talk about High Stakes Poker Season 12. So the first 3 episodes are out. What do you guys think about the High Stakes Poker Season 12?
Underwhelming. Underwhelming is the best way I could describe high stakes poker right now. If I wanted to watch the Andrew Roble show, I'd subscribe to Andrew Roble. Right now, he's just running the table.
You got full lock tonight.
Yeah, I mean you finally have some more players kind of interchanging with the table itself. To me, the dynamics not that great. I do enjoy seeing Chino Ream jump in there. I've always been a fan of Chino Ream. But the dynamic for the table, the lack of very large buy-ins for a high-stakes game, it just hasn't been exciting. It doesn't feel like the high-stakes poker we grew up on.
Yeah, that might be I want to chalk it up to that. That's just a nostalgia thing. That I'm just like, yeah, no, this isn't the same. This isn't something that's, it's a satisfying my itch or anything to just watch and play and like, oh, this is crazy, or they're doing stuff that's insane, or maybe we just know too much of the game or something like that. But it's underwhelming. That's probably the best word for it. Underwhelming.
Yeah. The thing is with high stakes, it started off so good. Like, just the bricks of money on the table, $1 million pots, $500,000 pots constantly. You got your personality. Phil Locke came out on episode 3, and Chino Reem as well too. What I don't get is Andrew Robo has 700,000 plus in his stack, and Chino Reem comes in and buys in for 100K, and you have 2 or 3 other people buying for 100K. Andrew Robo is dominating you guys. Like, if you watch him play, he's just re-raising or he's calling anything just because you guys are buying in for so low. Like, if high stakes poker, they have to have like a minimum. Like, if he has 700,000, try to buy him at least $500,000 or something. Like, it's and honestly, it's not entertaining.
Yeah.
No
What would you want to see change? Like maybe you switch to PLO or
personalities. You have to bring personalities to the game that are better,
Okay.
that people want to see, and high stakes. You can't get outperformed by a weekly stream as far as buy-ins and the size of the pots. You just can't do it. Like, change the name from high stakes poker to just like a. Because remember, this is basically filmed in one day, and it's taking parts, and it's just like, you telling me like season 12, you can't call people, you can't execute the game beforehand and be like, hey, the buy-in's gonna be $500,000 minimum buy-in. You can't get 7, 8, 9 people to commit.
I think that's the problem is, one, player selection, but 2, it's due to the fact that it is such a commitment. You know, you're committing 12, 18 hours, however long the game lasts. And, you know, you've got these, you know, Hustler Casino streams, Commerce Casino streams, which just started airing, Live at the Bite. You got all these live streams now with very minimal type of setups at a casino, and they're attracting some of the biggest players in the industry. While high stakes poker, which has been on since the beginning of time, is filmed in this beautiful studio, and it's just not as entertaining. And I think a lot of it comes down to player selection and commitment. You can jump on a live stream, Hustler stream, play for 5-6 hours, make some really good money, and go home, versus committing 12 to 18 hours. You're going to struggle getting the top tier players, and I mean, it's just not as exciting.
That's why I don't expect to see Tom Dwan at the WSOP. He's gonna leave just like he did last year because there's just a better cash game going on.
I think the people that are running the show are not doing a good job, just because it's not like it's being streamed in Kansas. It's televised in Las Vegas. This high stakes player in Las Vegas. You can get people to buy in for more than 100,000 in Las Vegas.
Like how many of them leave and then just go straight to Bobby's room or something to play a big?
I think Bobby's room plays bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know if it play. I mean, consistently play bigger. I don't know.
Consistently, yeah.
I don't know. But I will say this: I think it says a lot when you can jump onto the Hustler Casino stream, the Commerce Casino stream, all these streams, but yet, you know, these are, you know, 5-6 hours long. But then you've got a Poker Go subscription based stream that's probably struggling. If we were able to see viewership, I guarantee you a lot more people are tuning into Hustler than high stakes. And truly, it's because high stakes has been boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you said, as far as just like poker is evolving so much, that we have all these streams available. And with streams comes more cash games, higher stakes, and also more poker tournaments, which leading up to our next subject is the Win Million. The Win came out with their own poker series called the Win Million. What do you guys feel about that?
I think I saw earlier today they were drawing for the final 3 tables in the main event for that event for the Win.
No. The one that's going on now is, I think, the 3,500.
Oh, I thought it was their main event.
The main event is a 10K.
Oh,
The 3,500 right now got over just under 1,800 players, so about $4 million. They guaranteed $3 million.
Yes.
So
nice. No, that's great. I mean, the Win is gonna have their draw, right? Just being a top tier casino in general. And then if you're able to run those types of tournaments outside of the WSOP and visit Vegas and don't have to go to Vegas in the summer to play those big tournaments, that's a win-win for poker in general. So I've had a chance to play in the Win a couple times when we did cash games over there. Never had a chance to play a tournament, but I mean, it's arguably the best casino in all of Vegas. So if you can run top tier tournaments, more power to you.
Yes.
I mean, even now you have when WSOP is going on, you're like, what's happening at the Win, what's happening at Venetian, you know what I mean? So there's room for competition, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the summer, you know what I mean? But with the Win, they have all the capability of being the best series,
Yeah. The Win is
tournament series.
one of my top 3 hotels on the Strip. It is beautiful. They have good restaurants. They have the Wynn Buffet, which is one of the best in Vegas. They have a good. Yeah,
It's top tier.
they have a good sports book. So it's like, if Wynn can throw a good poker series, why not go there? You know. Which also, as far as just like if you're in Vegas, and you live there, like why not jump into the Wynn? You know. There's more tournaments. Like far as here in Florida, like with the Hard Rock Hollywood and Tampa throwing their series, WPT coming here too. Sometimes people from Florida, they can't get out for the World Series of Poker in the summer. So it's just like, okay, we can do a poker series here, and it's like our World Series of Poker. So it's good that the more tournaments are, the more poker grows, and also sometimes the rate that the house takes is a lot more if there's not enough tournaments, you know? Yeah. So structure everything. It's the more the better, put it like that.
Do you think so? Like when we go into summers, right? We see everyone have a series, right? The Venetian Deep Stack Extravaganza, WSOP, the Wynn series, MGM has a series, Golden Nugget has a series. Everyone has a series, right?
Yeah.
Do you think or foresee these casinos increasing like their market share of tournaments in the coming years and taking away from the WSOP specifically for the summer?
I mean, I think currently it's a timing issue for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people come and they just got the weekend. You know what I mean? So that's where you know, it's like, hey, what is the best value for my, you know, whatever my bankroll is, you know? So if some people can only do the $300 buy-in for the Gladiator and they can't make it that weekend, there is another tournament that's worthwhile at another casino that can do that. You know what I mean? So I do think they're cannibalizing a little bit, but right now I think it's a perfect sweet spot of serving it. Now, is there room for another top dog? Yes, absolutely. I mean, the WSOP does a great job in everything that they do, but there's definitely room at the top for a brand new, you know, like series that is the main series of the summer.
Now, do you see them taking away though from the WSOP?
Never the main event. I mean, we will see shrinkage before we see anything else. You know, we'll see maybe some less events. I do think 99 events is is a lot. You know, maybe focus on the quality that you're giving out more than the quantity. They do have good quality, but you know, things fall through. There is shortages of dealers. All this stuff that does happen when you're trying to grow, and maybe try not to grow. Maybe just focus on what you got.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
If someone comes in on the side, like the Win, and does it right, and they're building it from a great foundation, they could build up stronger and faster.
Yeah, I think it is going to take away from the WSOP. Never the main event. I feel like the main event is just going to stay the same.
Yeah.
Maybe go down just a little bit, or even more entrants. Just because the main event is like the Super Bowl. Like that's all the pros, they come down to play the main event. But I feel like it will take away from the lower stakes tournaments as well too, the low buy-ins. Just because, for example, if the Win's doing their series now, right? Maybe somebody won't take the days off or the weeks off to stay at the WSOP for 2 or 3 weeks. They might just say, I'm just going for the main event that weekend, you know, or that week. Yes, you have your pros that will grind out the whole summer.
Yeah.
But as far as like we live in Florida, we can do the Hollywood, the Showdown, the Poker Open, and we could do a weekend. Or we gonna do the Showdown. We do 2 weekends. It's easier for us just to do the tournaments in Florida and then dictate what tournaments you want to play in Vegas.
Do you care?
I do feel it's going to take away from the low buy-ins.
Do you care more about, I mean, or just the thought of poker pros, do you think more pros care about money versus bracelets?
So that's, I was going to kind of tie that into my point was you still have the prestige of the bracelet at the end of the day, right? You, in my opinion, you can play big tournaments all year long. There's a big tournament somewhere throughout the year.
Yeah.
I think for the smaller bracelet events, maybe someone might skip out on the $300 Gladiator, whatever the case may be, and then they'll find themselves going to the Wynn or the Venetian and playing in a $600, $3 million guarantee. I don't know, whatever the case may be. And especially when you're scoping out tournaments, you want to look out for tournaments that have like some potential overlays too, right? That they're not hitting their guarantee. So I think for the smaller events, we're gonna see them taking some more market share. What do I think as far as prize pools versus bracelets? I still think people are going to pick bracelets at the end of the day. But, that's, to me, that'd be personal preference. You'll never see a Phil Hellmuth jump into a Win tournament during the WSOP. So I think if you ask these top tier pros, they'd probably say the same thing. But then again, when we were in one of the summers, we went down and went to go play the Venetian Deep Stack Extravaganza. Justin Bonomo was right in front of us playing in a Venetian tournament during the WSOP. So, to him, it was probably more about prize money. He could have been playing something else. So, I don't know. I think it just really depends.
Yeah, the pros, if they trying to compete for Player of the Year, like Sean Deep, Daniel Negreanu, Phil Hellmuth, they won't play another event. But if you have your pros that just care about the overlays, pretty much the guarantees, and sometimes a softer field outside of the WSOP. So, I don't know. I like to play bracelet event just because it's prestige, but once you have one, it's like after that you never catching Phil Hellmuth. It's the person that's gonna catch him is, I don't know who's even close to him, because he's not gonna stop playing for the next 10, 15 years.
He's in this room right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So it's like it's hard to be number one. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, time will tell, right? I think time will tell. I think this summer is going to be a big indicator of what that's going to look like over the course of the next couple years. WSOP has more events than ever, and I think to make sure that they strengthen or at least retain a lot of that market share is going to be based off of new events coming in, right? They got the new events, they've got the PLO, No Limit Hold'em, Double Board, Extravaganza, whatever the case may be. So doing events like that, people are going to be like, do I want to go play at the Golden Nugget 1 milli, or do I want to flip for my life? You know what I mean? So those are the types of events that they got to keep throwing out there to make sure that nobody goes anywhere else.
The mystery bounties and stuff like that. And a lot of people understand the pros, they committed to the WSOP. Some of them are sponsored by WSOP. Some of them are playing for Player of the Year points, which they're not going to take the time and worry about other tournaments. So
I see some of the share eventually depleting, but I think it's over those weekends where there's some less fun events, these huge fields with smaller buy-ins, and they're going to say, I'm going to go play at a high roller down the street. So, okay, but, kind of switching and transitioning. So we talked about Rampage's downswing, right? Let's talk about a bankroll, right? Something completely different. So Kevin Martin, has started one of the more wild poker bankroll challenges ever. Now it's been done before, but he's added a twist to it, right? So he's attempting to build a bankroll from $0. First, he's started it off by pawning off some items, and then he's building off of that. Now, this inspiration came from the fact that he built his current bankroll from $0 and started in the micro stakes, and then he's going to build it up to $5,000. The most interesting thing about all this is the fact that he's doing it 24/7 and he's doing it live on a Twitch stream. So if we were to hop onto Twitch right now, we'd see him playing. So last night, while I was building everything out, I was like, let me see how legitimate he's on. He was on playing, I want to say he was playing a tournament, and I hopped in. I'm just looking at the thing. He had a couple hundred people in there, and I mean, like, dude's on there 24/7. He's making sure that all of it is streamed, which is crazy, because being someone that has streamed before, like sitting there playing 3-4 hours is a lot. Just video games. This guy, that current stream was 13-14 hours, because Twitch, cuts you off and then you got to restart the stream. But who knows? But he's not ending this entire challenge until he gets to $5,000.
Okay. Is he leaving his room?
No,
or house?
he's sleeping on
I was
camera.
like, is he leaving the stream on and like, I'm gonna go eat and I'll be back?
He's sleeping on camera. He's eating on camera. He's
Yeah.
doing it all. Like, so it's truly an in
Truman-
real life
A
stream.
Truman Show poker player.
In real life, 5K challenge stream, building it up from $0. Taking content creation for poker to a different level.
Yeah.
And then taking poker in general, right? Like bankroll challenges to a different level. Something we've never seen. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
So I have a different take on it. It is cool, but I wish it was from somebody that doesn't have a high bankroll. Somebody that's actually starting from zero. Because
Yeah.
he's selling off stuff, but how much is he selling off? How much is he coming in with, And it's just like, if he goes bust, is it really going to affect him? That's...
I mean, it's not gonna affect them, but like, I also don't want to see someone selling off their car and then really struggling either.
Yeah.
So I think I think it would just be just as hard for anyone. I mean, if you can prove he's coming from zero, that's all that matters. Like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to see him struggle. I just think
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I'd rather see like a 18, 19-year-old kid that's coming straight into poker that really doesn't have that much money and actually like, hey, here's $100. Let me run up the micro stakes tournaments and stuff like that. Get up to 5,000. But a guy that has a lot of money and just like the bankroll is cool, but I feel like for him it's just like you're not really starting from zero. So you have to have that effect. Like if you lose, it's gonna affect you as well too. I get it. The live streaming is cool and people can watch them, but I feel like it's not really. It doesn't appeal to me just because it's just like you're not really starting from zero. So you sell off a few stuff, but it's just like how much you getting for the stuff you're selling.
I'm for it.
I mean, I don't think he's selling off a TV and getting 1,000 and saying, "Oh, I got 4,000 to go." I mean,
Yeah.
from what I understand, he's selling some stuff off to get like $100
Yeah.
and then going from there. Like, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like he's selling stuff off to get to 5K. He's just getting something from.
So for example, like if he sells off a TV, he gets $150 for it, right? He loses it, right? He goes the next day and buys himself a TV that's worth $4,000, right? Because he can afford it. I like the fact that you get a younger kid with no money. He sells off that TV. Now, if he loses, he doesn't have a TV, and it's just like, okay,
That's a different type of bankroll
Yeah.
challenge, though.
but it's just like you're making a bankroll challenge for 5,000 when you have.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't catch my eye. What I like is just a poker challenge, so you can see the guy streaming 24/7. But he even has a stream on when he's sleeping. Nobody wants to see you sleep, man. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Personally,
but that adds to the dynamic of everything, right?
Yeah,
So like,
it's
I,
different.
I get what you're saying as far as like, hey, like, I want to make sure that if he loses that 150 from that TV, it truly affects him. I get it, but for me,
So-
all I care about is if he goes back to zero and he's got to rebuild from zero again. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
I can care less about he's gonna replace the TV. But I can care less about the fact that he's gonna just sell
what
another
stakes?
one.
What stakes is he playing?
Micro.
Yeah, it's micro. Whatever.
He's playing the lowest
whatever.
stakes and he's building it up. Whatever he's got to do to get it to 5K.
Yeah. So the point of a bankroll challenge is to show off your skill in every stake, right? That what's working at 50, 100 can work for the 1 penny, 2 penny person. You know what I mean? And it's just about thinking about your spots, picking your spots, and you can do it. You can build it up. He did it before. He wants to do it again. The 24/7 is cool and different, but like I said, I'm never gonna watch you sleep. I'm never gonna go watch you eat. Like, I'm gonna go on. Are you playing? Cool. I'll watch. Are you not playing? I'm off. You know what I mean?
But how entertaining is it watching Michael Stakes? To be honest,
It's interesting when you're hearing his thought process, just like you're hearing his thought process in at a high stake level. Like, it's just like, hey, this is how I'm gonna do it. This is my strategy to do it, and let's see if it works. Like calling an all-in check raise on the river, and it's only 34 cents, but you're treating it like it's a 34,000. I mean, to me, it's just as interesting. For when I watch these bankroll challenges, which I watched Polks. I watched. I remember following Chris Ferguson when he tried his. Which then, his was boring because it wasn't like YouTube or anything. It was just
Ferguson's
literally
a boring person.
It was literally but it was literally just watching it on full
It
tilt.
was different though. Yeah,
It was just watching him play on full tilt,
talking
playing free rolls.
2011.
Yeah.
So is Kevin Martin playing on ACR?
I think it's GG.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which is, I think that's what's gonna drive people to GG. We're like, hey, look, I'm a regular guy. I I have more than whatever he sold his TV for.
Yeah.
You know what
So-
I mean? So I can potentially do this. If I grind and I do maybe half the hours he did, I could get there in double the time, or you know what I mean? Or I only need to risk $100 and maybe the next Tom Dwan comes out of there, or the next Phil Goffin comes out of there.
Where's he at now? You guys know?
I didn't.
No.
I meant to look at it before the stream. I'd be interested to see where he's at.
That's why, like, when my thing is like, that's fine. He's streaming and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
just like I only care if towards the end. Did you hit the 5,000? Okay,
Yeah.
let's look at some highlights. You start,
Yeah.
but as far as watching the micro stakes and
Yeah.
I don't find that entertaining
Yeah.
at all. Maybe it's because I don't have the
Yeah.
time to be like, okay, let's watch him stream. I'd
I'm
rather
different.
watch other
Yeah.
stuff.
I like watching until like $500 because after like $500, I feel like as long as you're doing good bankroll management, you'll get there. Like, all right, you kind of proved it. I think it's harder to build up $10 to $12 than it is to build up $20 to $40. You know what I mean? So so seeing how he handles his pennies is
I just don't like
more
the
important to me.
I'm gonna pawn off some
or
stuff.
entertaining.
Like,
Yeah.
let me pawn off some stuff. I'm broke. Like,
Yeah.
no,
No,
like
he's not saying he's broke.
the
though.
duck
Yeah,
poke
yeah.
was like exactly, but he's like, oh, let me pawn it. I have to sell this so I can start my challenge. It's just like, no, just say you're making $300 off the item. Just say I'm gonna come in with $300.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do the extra. As far as like, hey, let me
Yeah.
pawn a TV and then okay, look, I got 150 for it. I'm gonna start it from there. Just say I'm gonna start with 150.
here for the
Like, I don't.
I mean, it's
I don't
it's
wanna
not it's clearly
I'm here for poker and poker
I don't like
only.
the.
It's
the
clearly not for
the
everyone.
clickbait.
yeah.
it's clearly not for everyone, and that's fine. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
we could sit here and talk about, oh, the micro sticks are boring. I don't want to sit and watch around. I don't got the time for that.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard as hell to do what he's doing. The streaming alone, day in, day in, out.
Yeah.
Like, that is hard alone to,
Doesn't
to
even seem
show
healthy
from-
to me.
It's not. It's
Yeah.
it's not.
I was like, go get some sunlight, bro.
Yeah, not healthy. Do you have a family? Like, what are you streaming
healthy.
24/7?
But see, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it's-
Like, because imagine you being on camera for 24/7 until you hit
Yeah.
a goal. Like, that mindset alone is hard. Let alone you got to fight through the variance of playing poker.
It's this new
Like,
day and
and again,
age.
it's not for everyone, but it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting. And not everyone can do it. Like,
Yeah.
not everyone can do it.
I couldn't, not at all.
Doug Polk ran 100 to 10K in 2018. Ferguson ran $0 to 10K in 2011.
Yeah.
None of them did it around the clock 24/7.
So by zero, it's
Doug
a
took
free
over
roll?
a year, actually. Doug took over like a year.
Yeah, Doug took a long time.
Yeah, because he stopped.
And this guy's not
midway,
getting
and then
off
he
the
changed
camera.
his rules. He was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play this, and his bankroll management went out the window. He was like, I'm just gonna play heads up for like my whole roll,
Yeah.
and I get there in 2 days.
So I'm gonna be honest. It's hard to believe poker players, even if they're on stream 24/7, because you can get a friend to sit at your table and pretty much kind of like collude, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust online. I'd rather have
That's why
somebody
this guy's
go.
on a camera. You can't fake what he's doing.
Yeah, but you can tell your friend, hey, I'm on this table. He can hop on that table. He can look.
He's on camera playing.
24/7.
How do you know who's
So
his
you
friend
think
that sits down?
You think he's going to the bathroom? Like, yo, I'm about to play. Get on.
I'm confused. He's in front
Yeah.
of a camera. I don't think you understand. Like, he's in front of
No,
a camera
I,
live stream.
I know what live stream is. But say that you're on live stream, right? I see you at a table, right? You're at table number 7100, right? I go to that table, it's a seat open, I sit down, right? I can tell you before time, hey, I sit at the table, right? And donate me some money.
Yeah.
Because that's not regulated either. You guys got to understand, there's so much
I know,
shady
but
stuff that happens
I don't
in
think-
poker.
But you
like,
gotta
it's hard
understand too.
believe.
You're
Yeah.
talking about the fact that he's got this big bankroll already, but then you're
Yeah.
not giving him credit for playing his own tables.
Yeah.
Like, you got to pick and choose. Like,
Yeah.
do you believe him or you don't believe him? Like, I give him
it's
the
for
credit.
it's for content. It's hard to believe anybody that wants to
Yeah.
do stuff for
It's all
content.
live
I don't
streamed.
know.
I mean, he's sharing his screen. He has
Yeah.
a camera on him.
I mean, even if he
And he's
makes
sharing
it, he's
his
not rich.
screen.
It's 5K. I don't think the stakes are that hard to like let me collude.
And the thing is, he's sharing his screen. You see his mouse moving. He's saying, "I'm gonna go sit at this
Yeah.
table. I'm gonna play this right now." Like, it would take a whole nother level of type of software and colluding to have someone click into a table the moment you're
More
clicking
than
instead
it's
of
worth.
like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not for 5K. I mean,
I'm
give
just
the guy the
here.
credit. He's doing a $0 to $5,000 bankroll challenge.
I think it was probably harder for Doug Polk because he used his own name and all that, so everybody wanted to play with Doug Polk, especially at like $5, $10, and he was just like, dude, like nobody folds because nobody wants to fold. They want to play against me.
Okay. Well, I got another story. Hopefully, Ice is more supportive of this story. This one's a feel-good story, Ice. Oh, this one is about this Navy vet Ryan, and it's either I'm guessing it's Slocum. So he had shared that he had won a WSOP 2024 WSOP main event ticket. The really cool thing about it is he had $2.20 in his WSOP poker account, ran that up to a $15 satellite, navigated the field, and then he got into a $215 one-seat guaranteed event and won. So he ran $2.20 to a $10,000 ticket at this WSOP that's coming up for the main event. The crazy part is he did this last year on Club GG for less than $50. So on back-to-back years, we're talking someone that, from what I understand, is a very low-stakes player, very humble guy, father, no different than us, has now gone into back-to-back main events for less than $110 in back-to-back years.
What are we doing?
What are we doing wrong? Right? What are we doing wrong?
I know you guys aren't playing online. That's what
Online, whatever. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's what online's for. Is to use the extra players that are around that are always playing that for you to build up small stacks like that. You know what I mean? I don't know how many times I've taken everything out and because Bitcoin, whatever, next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I still have $3.40. Let me jump into something. Next thing you know, I have 3, I have 10, and I'm playing all over again. Like it's right on my alley, and good on you, man.
Yeah, I like this. And the reason is he's a guy that is not a poker pro, doesn't have the talent that Kevin Martin has in poker. So it's just like he's not sandbagging these lower stakes with guys that don't know how to play. He's actually playing to his level, and then he's building this pretty much. This is amazing. Like he wins satellites, and then he gets a ticket to the WSOP main event. That's everybody's dream. So it's just like this is the stuff that for me catches my eye, just because it's like the guy is not a pro. Doesn't have the skill level, so it's just like he's playing to the same competition, not somebody that's superior to all these micro stakes. That's another thing that gets me. It's just like, okay, you're a top pro and you're going to play with these micro stakes to build up. Shouldn't be that hard if you're a top pro,
Yeah, he made it to the end of day 2 last year from his first satellite, and just like us with our
and I don't have to watch him sleep.
Yeah, and just like us with our hard 8 and our 1500 shootout, where it was validating that we were playing in that player pool, and we all held our own. That's what he has now at the main event. You know what I mean? And he also he apparently was playing with Phil Locke.
Phil Locke, yep.
And Phil Locke gave him a compliment. It was like, man, you're playing very well.
Yeah, I gave him some words.
I wouldn't take any.
You know what I mean? I mean, how do you not try to do it again next year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he does it. You do it again, and I'm like, okay. Like I mean, I don't know if I'm him. I'm thinking about maybe taking some other shots.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's pretty cool at the end of the day that your everyday poker player can go on probably the absolute minimum, play in the main event, a dream for everyone, and he's doing it in back-to-back years. I mean, that's absolutely insane. I
wonder if this is like his only goal. Like New Year starts, like I gotta, I'm just gonna keep playing satellites until I get there, or it just kind of happened,
Yeah. No, I don't know. Definitely interesting nonetheless. I mean, shout out to Ryan. Thank you for your service for sure.
Yes.
And absolutely, that is going to be a story that we will be following along during the summer. Little insider tidbit: we've exchanged some DMs with Ryan, trying to work something out. So hopefully, some more news to come from there. But like I said, we like to pride ourselves on being the everyday poker player. We're not poker pros. So being able to get to someone that's seen some fun success and some relatable success is really cool. So it'd be really cool to get Ryan on stream in the future. So definitely look out for that. And hopefully wishing him good luck in the main event this year.
Yeah. Hey, actually, I have another one that just came to mind.
Bankroll challenge?
No, sort of. So it's another feel-good story, right? Because we were talking earlier, like how did poker, big moments. I remember I won. It was full tilt, 5 a.m, and I got a second or third place. I don't remember. And either way, it was for a couple K. And the next day is when I cashed out, and I used that money to go get my my now wife her engagement ring.
Nice.
Nice. So poker changed my life again there.
There you go.
I just wanted to throw that in there. We switched it from all the negative to all the happy stories, and I was like, oh wait, I didn't share mine. So there you go.
There you go. Poker changes lives. Make sure we clip that, Fernando. Send it to Momo when we can. Cool. So just a recap of a couple social media posts and responses that we got. So last week we had posted a video about your favorite casino to play in, right? And Hector posted a video of him mentioning the Harrah's. And shout out to the Harrah's. They responded to us today and said, can't wait to have you back. But Hector mentioned the Harrah's being his favorite casino. Motor City Poker responded, and they mentioned the Golden Nugget. So Golden Nugget, obviously, classic hotel in Fremont. They run a really big 1-2 uncapped game, 1-1 uncapped game, whatever it is. Throughout the year, but definitely plays big in the summer. And they have a pretty big summer series as well, right?
They have a tournament in a series with the World Series of Poker going on. It's pretty big too. He also mentioned it's in Fremont, so you see Fremont raggedy down hotels and stuff like that. But the Golden Nugget actually has a decent sized pool with water slides and everything like that as well too. So it's a decent resort to stay at. In Fremont, that's not the circa that's $400 or $500 a night. But the poker games is excellent at the Golden Nugget, especially Fremont. That you get a lot of drunk guys that come in and play. It's good action, and there's really nothing else in Fremont. So
and then of course you have the history of the World Series of Poker, and it still has old Vegas feel, but it still feels like newish, and you don't feel like you're just all right, let's renovate this place. It's still nice.
You got the true gamblers in Fremont.
Yeah,
smells like straight Newports, and it's good though. Appreciate Motor City Poker. So
absolutely. And then we also posted a video about our favorite poker room. It was a clip of me mentioning the Hard Rock Tampa, and our buddy PD Stay Fresh responded with the Bellagio. So thanks, PD, for sending your response. I don't think it gets more classic in a sense than the Bellagio. I think it's one of those rooms when you go to Vegas, you're like, I've got to play in that room, right? It took me a while to play in certain rooms after a couple of years, but the Bellagio is one of those rooms where I was like, when I go, I got to play there. I got to take a picture of Bobby's room. Yeah. It doesn't get more Vegas, in my opinion, than that room.
Yeah. Even if I played their lowest stakes, I feel like it's too high for me. It's just that nice there.
Yeah. And the thing is, they have some of the lowest minimums.
Yeah.
Or lowest maximums, across the board. I remember 510 that time I played I think it was max 1,500. There's some 2.5 rooms that are like 1,500. So it plays pretty small. Obviously we've talked about the action before, but it is a nostalgic room.
It's just knowing what's there, and then you just look over, try to look into that glass window and see who's playing.
It's definitely iconic. So
absolutely. Cool. So thanks for PD for responding and showing us some love on Instagram. So I think that's gonna wrap up today's stream. We're looking at a couple guest spots coming. Our first guest spot's gonna be in 2 weeks. Then we have a potential right after that. So here within the next 6-7 weeks or so, we're looking at about 3 potential guest spots coming up. So stay tuned there. Some announcements will be coming shortly. Every Monday, guys, 9 p.m. We've been trying to post some more content in regards to getting some user engagement, trying to get some feedback from you guys in regards to your favorite poker rooms, casinos, whatever the case may be. The more you guys engage with that, the better for us. Will give us more stuff to talk about. So we'll be filming a couple videos after this so we can get some more engagement from you guys over the course of the week. Just really want to get your feedback and, tell us what we're doing good. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell me if we're wrong about certain opinions, right? That's what we want. We want that engagement at the end of the day. Anything I'm missing?
No, just engage with us. Poker players are real sensitive as well too, so we know you guys feel a certain way. Just express your feelings in the chat, and we can go back and forward. So no problem with that.
Yeah. Well, we'll be looking out for all your comments. Give us reviews on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, all the sites, and we really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Until next time.
See you guys. Peace.